Yeah, it's wild. It truly is wild.
Did you see, speaking about the United States, actually, you see the Joe Biden thing?
With what in particular?
Easter?
Oh my God,
Bruh.
Brutal.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man,
Wait, with what? What happened?
So Joe Biden, he didn't make it Easter this day. So this was a day already. It was a Transgender Visibility Day.
Oh boy.
And it was on Easter, right? And to be very, very clear, he did not make it. People are blaming Joe Biden for making it that day. He didn't make it that day. That's been a day for like 10 years.
Right.
But I think the issue is the outrage came from he put a lot of energy into that Transgender Visibility Day. Like he did post on Twitter
Right, on
or something.
Twitter.
And he was like, Happy Easter. Then the next one was like Transgender Visibility Day. And he's like, hey, for everyone transgender, you are loved, you are seen under God. Like he like went hard. So it's almost like one of those things where it's like, whoa, like people got angry about it. Like, so you saw that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's one of those situations where goes back to what we talked about, like with Islam, with Christianity, how in Christianity it's not as respected as it was before. Yeah. And I can understand why people were so up in arms. And for me, I thought it was quite the coincidence that it just so happens to be on that particular day. And then specifically regarding Joe Biden on Twitter, it was one of those things where it's like, all right, you just put the most emotionless based post. Because for me, social media is, I don't look deep into all the posting or whatever, but I know the populace does. So for you to put no energy into this and then the umpteenth degree energy into that and kind of be in a situation where you're like, what are people upset about? That right there is just one of those things where it's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So for me, I looked at it from the perspective of this is something that they are purposely trying to get people up in arms with. Because it's almost as if you want the divide and the dissension to continue.
I think it's really fucked up because by doing that, you almost put a target on the back of transgender people. Oof, right. I want to be very clear. I have no issue with transgender people. I think everybody deserves a day, right? Whether you're black, white, man, woman, straight, gay, transgender, you deserve a day. That being said, to put it over another person's day,
right?
It's almost like saying, like, putting value over one thing. Like, you could have a day, make it another day, not Easter.
Right.
Because when you make it Easter, now what you've done is you put a target on your back. Because now it's like every Christian person on the planet is fucking angry at you.
Right.
And you don't want that because you want transgender people to be accepted in society. So why would you put a giant target on their back and say, hey, fuck you Christians, transgender?
Because you know exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what
that's like saying white lives matter on Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in the midst of, right. It's the same thing. It's like it's you divisive. Strategically, and the thing about it with specifically with the day, you could have easily said, all right, you know what, next Sunday, or maybe on April 2nd, because if it was on April 1st, then of course, it's April Fool's Day, what are our feelings? So with that being the case, you knew better because you can't sit there and make it seem, oh, I had no clue. Impossible. So my biggest thing would be, I would have loved to have been able to be and fly on the wall in the conversations leading up to the day and the decision to say we're appointing it for this particular.
Joe Biden, realistically, he does any of this stuff, or you think he just got handlers? They just handle all of it?
I've always looked at the president as just this other individuals who are running it. You're just like the face of the operation.
I feel like Donald Trump. That's
Donald.
He's in that bitch. He's in that bitch like
because he has that A-type personality to want to be in those rooms.
They be telling him stuff, and he just tells them no.
Right, like there's no doubt in my mind when they walked. Like, he probably was one of the very few presidents who probably wanted to be involved in most of the conversations, even if he has no influence on what's going on, at least to be in a situation where he's not blindsided per se, and somebody just comes, whispers in your ear and say, hey, say this, say that. So because he just seems to have that kind of personality per se.
For me, when I see that, right, it's like they're on his neck. Like he's dealing with a lot of bullshit now.
Right.
Just because of the presidency. They're saying like he raped people. They're trying to diddy him. right? None of this shit's sticking. They're trying to diddy him.
Yeah, I
Nothing's
must say for him,
nothing is sticking.
He is Velcro. Like he's like freaking John Gotti out there with everything. It's ridiculous.
Nothing is Teflon. He's Teflon.
Yeah, he's a Teflon
nothing is sticking to him, and he's out here like he's giving himself a bunch of headaches. But like I feel like he just wants to fucking. He has like that it also of like I want to win.
Right.
Like I'm Donald Trump. I want to win.
Right.
So part of it is ego, but like. Man, when you see something like that, it's like this dude's relentless as far as like that stuff. With Joe Biden, I wouldn't be surprised if people just running that shit and they're like, "Yo, let's just figure it out. He's asleep. Let's like." It's like yo, yeah.
It's because I would have like I said before, I would have loved to have been a fly on a wall for the conversations leading up into that, because there's no way there wasn't somebody who said, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
You don't think this is a bad idea. Like I feel as if it's now in politics. It's just we want to see the world burn and enjoy the hysteria of the people losing their mind. Like it has to be a game at this point.
Well, I think in politics it almost becomes like a let me look out for myself.
Right.
Let me look out for my interests. Because I saw something. It was actually crazy. Sorry, David, to cut you off. But I want to remember it. You know how they're talking about banning TikTok, right?
Yeah.
There was a rep, like they looked at a rep and they're like, "Yo, hey, what did you vote for?" He's like, "I voted yes to ban TikTok." And sure enough, they look at his biggest donors. Fucking Meta and Google are his biggest donors.
Yep.
And he voted to ban TikTok. And it's crazy. What's crazy, they didn't even donate that much money. They donated like 50 grand. So because there's so many like everyone has interest everywhere, and you're a politician, you're like get it where you can.
Right.
That's almost like your hustle right there. You're like,
who's
yo,
your backers?
I can get money from this. So now it becomes this game of like motherfuckers throwing money around for their interests, and everyone's going in every other direction. And what's unfortunate is some pockets are deeper than others.
Right.
So if I'm Pfizer, I get my way no matter what. You're not gonna bully me. I got some bread. If I'm a defense company, if I'm Raytheon, you're not gonna get your way. I got more money than you. The fuck are you gonna do?
And that's ultimately why I always look at politics like, man, people think it's all based off of policy. No, who's got the deepest pockets and who has the influence to be able to tell the politicians, hey, do what we want because we can give you, because where's the integrity?
Make sure you stay in power.
Right. Where's the integrity and the checks and balances for the integrity?
Yeah.
Because if I slide you an envelope, say, hey, that's $50 million right there if you do this, how many people will be willing to say, I don't believe in that?
Yeah.
More often than not, they'll say, no, thank you very much. I'll push this. Perhaps in 25 years, the people will forgive me.
Yep.
And then
If not, I don't give a fuck.
If not, I don't give a fuck. I have some fuck you money now, and I'll be able to do what I want.
You see it with every politician, bro. They're broke. They go into power. They get some sort of like seat, a position with power, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're worth $100 million. Fucking crazy.
And they're great at stocks.
Right. They're great at stock. Everything we put money on, it's winning. How is that? Isn't that
Nancy Pelosi don't miss, bro.
Right. And moral, this just lastly.
I love when they ask her and she's like, huh?
It's ridiculous. And lastly, my thing is, like, how the fuck do people on Congress be on Congress for like 40, 50 years? How does that happen? Like, I don't understand. Like, there got to be some point of like a cutoff period or something.
Yeah.
How the hell are you in politics? You're a seat in these rooms for decades upon decades.
They're literally called career politicians because that's their career.
Right.